Right, this is the study that is being talked about. It's the effect of inverted foot orthosis on rear foot mechanics, and Dorsey Williams was the lead author. The study had 11 subjects. It actually had a couple more, but they had to eliminate the data of a couple because of issues with it. But the inclusion criteria was no clinical response to a standard neutral root type foot orthosis, but then they did respond to the Blake sort of inverted style foot orthosis. So effectively what they had was 11 people with one orthotic that didn't work and one orthotic that didn't work. So the idea was to bring them into the lab and try and measure what was it about the orthotic that worked that wasn't there in the orthotic that didn't work. So they started with the kinematics, and here we have no orthotic, the standard root type foot orthoses, and the Blake inverted type foot orthoses. So peak eversion of the calcaneus 7.5, 9.1, 8.7. Statistically there was no difference. Eversion excursion, get rid of that. Eversion excursion, this is the total range of eversion from its most inverted position. 15, 15, 15, no differences. Eversion velocity, how fast it happened, 242 degrees per second, 215, 225. You know, again, statistically no difference, except, you know, this here, the Blake inverted type foot orthosis was the one that worked, this was the one that didn't work, and this is no orthosis, and if you look at that data, there's really no difference at all. So here's the graphed version of the rear foot eversion. So just to orientate you to the graph, here we have 0 to 100% of the stance phase. Here we have the foot hitting the ground slightly inverted, pronates to vertical, maximum pronation reached around 50% of the stance phase. I mean, you've all seen this graph before. And then starts to resupinate, resupinates to vertical, and continues to resupinate during propulsion. So anything above that line is everted or pronated, anything below that line is supinated or inverted. So here's what people are talking about. Subject number 5, and you can see here that this black solid line is the orthotic that worked, and you can see maximum pronation there is probably around 7 or 8 degrees. The orthotic that didn't work, maximum pronation looks to be around 5 degrees, and no orthotic, maximum pronation, or maximum eversion I should be saying, around 3 or 4 degrees. So the foot orthotic that worked everted or pronated the foot even more than the orthotic that didn't work, and no orthotic. But also notice, you know, maximum pronation, maximum eversion rather, around just below 40% of the stance phase. Subject number 12, again, maximum pronation, look at that, that's around 60 to 70%, so that reaching maximum eversion or pronation at 50% is a pretty good mean, and there's lots of subject to subject variability. But in this subject you can see maximum pronation is probably 6 or 7 degrees of eversion with no orthotic, the dotted line, but then you can see with the solid line with the orthoses that worked and the one that didn't work, maximum pronation just under 5 degrees. But again, no difference in the movement pattern between the orthotic that worked and didn't work, but at least the foot pronated less or everted less with that foot orthosis. And here's subject number 13. So with no foot orthoses, maximum pronation or eversion looks around 5 degrees. The foot orthoses that worked, the Blake inverted device, maximum pronation 6 or 7 degrees. But the orthotic that didn't work, maximum pronation was almost 14 degrees. So again, both foot orthoses were everting the foot more than not wearing an orthosis, and this one here worked and this one here didn't work. So the question is that in this study, on average, you can see this graph here, there was no difference between the three conditions, no orthoses, the Blake inverted, or the roots of standard type foot orthoses, but this black solid line was the device that fixed them. And then the question becomes is how can a device that aims to invert the foot more actually everting the foot more, and the people are getting better. So I'll leave you with that thought to ponder.